Welcome to the Professor Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, the home of the Dan Vladar fan club. I'm not going to tell you who among us is the head of the Dan Vladar club, but hint, it's probably me. Jackie Spiegel's here. Jackie, first appearance this season. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Giving me a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Wasn't a last minute thing or anything. Our friend Anthony SanFilippo, I don't believe is going to be with us tonight. He's tending to a family emergency, so we send our best to Anthony.
Yes.
And to his family. But in the meantime, we are here with Jackie. Intern Andrew's on the ones and twos. Bundy's doing pregame radio, but he'll be here at some point in the not-too-distant future. Jackie.
Yes.
This Flyers season has already gotten off to quite the interesting start. 2-2-1.
Yep.
Murderer's Row to start the season. A lot of home games with a lot more home games to come. But overall, I wanted to get your feeling. 2-2-1. If somebody had told you that before the season, you would have said?
Surprised.
Yeah.
A little surprised. There was a part of me during that Winnipeg game where I was just, or Minnesota. The last game was Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
It's all blended already. Like
Minnesota.
I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
Yeah.
It's just game day or non-game
That's right.
day.
Minnesota was Saturday, and it's Monday.
Yes.
How did it get to be Monday? It feels like it's last Thursday.
I don't know. Yeah. But I
It's a
did
mess.
feel like watching the Minnesota game, I was like, man, if they lose this, it's going to be like starting like last year, where they had one win, right?
Yep.
Against, what was it, Vancouver?
Sounds right.
And then they kind of did not play well, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
And I was a little like, all right, well, I guess similar to last year, but then, they won the game. I'm not saying that they're playing outstanding, but they're definitely competing with teams that are cup contenders. I mean, two-time defending champion. They played them twice already.
Yep.
They play them one more time even before we hit Thanksgiving. Like, it's an interesting schedule.
Yeah.
It's weird also being home for so many games like this in October. It kind of gives a false sense of like the travel's not going to be bad, and then it's going to pick up.
It's interesting though because everybody that we've had on so far this year, like the big kind of question is like, would you rather be a team that has to take on a bunch of cupcake teams to start the season, right? Teams that are viewed as bottom feeding teams, build a little bit of momentum, and then you get into a stretch like this, or do you want to just go right after it to start the season? And I mean, for the most part, it has worked out. Like, oddly enough, it's worked out. I don't know if it's because the cup contending teams, like Florida's had injuries, we know that. But, is it part of it that the cup contending teams, they're not totally bearing down yet? It's the points aren't as meaningful to them right now as they jockey for their final playoff position, midseason and then into the postseason.
I mean, points are points. Points matter. Yeah. If you don't get the points now, you're not going to have the points you need later, kind of deal. I mean, several players always say that at the start of the year. Yes, teams do definitely pick it up. Let's say this year after the Olympic break, it'll be a very different game. My thinking is I would almost rather they had played a couple of the easier teams right now, just because they're still learning Rick Tockett's systems. Mm-hmm. And, when you're still learning and you're still not sure and you're still a little like, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And granted, they don't have to really be worrying about sitting if they're not doing necessarily the right thing outside of one person.
Where would that happen?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Is there a coach here who would arbitrarily bench people for no good reason and then I'll not elaborate on it?
I don't know, but never
would happen here.
But I just feel like, if you're starting to like learn a system, you almost want to play a little bit of an easier team. And the way especially Carolina plays, where they are just all over you and so like aggressive with their forecheck and shoot from everywhere. Like, if you're trying to learn a box N1, which is a pretty simple system in reality, maybe it's better to play a team that's a little easier to start than a team that's a little bit more of an aggressor.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If it was still John Tortorella, I would have been like, nah, let them play whoever. Like, whatever. But
let them play what?
Whoever.
The Pride of Long Island. As we get into the season, there are obviously a few different things that have already kind of taken over as the main stories of the year. One is in net, one is a budding superstar who hasn't had a great start, and then there are some fringe guys. I want to start with the fringe guys.
Okay.
I want to start there because there are going to be some decisions that need to be made, and then obviously we'll get to Darth Vladar, and also a young man named Matvey Michkov, I believe is his name.
Michkov.
Let's start first with the fringe guys. Lachenko and Grabenkin.
Yes.
They've kind of been in and out of the lineup. last game, they were out. Flyers pick up a big win against Minnesota. Obviously, pregame, we're talking about, Jetlachenko, Steve William, was it the right pick? All that kind of stuff.
Of course.
Going into tonight's game, Lachenko's back in there.
Yes.
We all know he's got 9 games, and then they have to make a decision. Either
Correct.
goes back to Guelph, or they keep him up here the whole season, or there's this like weird third little door, which is they just kind of play a very long game where they don't play him for weeks on end and just keep him here, which seems less and less likely as he continues to factor back in. Let's start with Lachenko.
Yes.
To me, he doesn't look like he belongs at this level. Going back to Guelph doesn't exactly seem like a great developmental thing either.
I agree, too.
It really does feel like they're screwed by a year because the new rule that would allow him to go to the Phantoms won't be in place this season.
Yep.
Going into the season, which way would you have leaned? And then has that changed over the course of the start of the season?
I actually think they got screwed even last year because when they signed him, I think it was like a month later, 2 weeks later, that they were like, oh, CHL guys can transfer.
Yeah.
So at the time when they signed him to his ELC, the expectation was there is no college option. I think we can all agree that probably college would have been a good choice for him.
Yeah.
For to the next step. I agree that I feel like he looks lost at times. He and Grabankin play very different games to a degree.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if he was with like a Tippett or someone who has his speed and IQ, not that I'm saying the same thing, Nikita just plays a very puck possession, a very
beat the hell out of you along the boards.
Yeah, board game.
Greasy. Tocchet, I think, even kind of called it greasy today.
Sticky.
Yeah.
He's a sticky guy.
Yeah.
He's used that term. He reminds me, I watched a lot of the Michigan State BU game on Friday, like a Shane Van Saggy kind of player where they drive to the net, they battle on the boards, they are aggressive with their forecheck. It's not – Lachenko's a little bit more of a finesse game, I think. It's fair to say. He uses his speed. He uses his – I mean, I watched him in Lehigh. I was at one of the games. The passing he was making and the speed and the quickness and the way he moved around defenders, he looked so confident. I don't know if he's as confident right now at the NHL level.
He doesn't look it.
No, and I think the question is, what do you do with him? Do you send him back to junior, where he plays on a Guelph team that's not good? Although they did make a trade. I don't know the player that they got. I don't know what his level is. I don't know if they were trying to boost it a little bit.
Maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a trade involving Guelph with Lachenko if he goes back to maybe another team. But it's tough, right? What do you do with him?
Yeah.
Because, Rodrigo Abels can sit. He's, if needed. He's not the kind of guy that, obviously he wants to play every night.
Yeah.
But he could definitely be someone who could handle the sitting. Lachenko needs to play.
Yeah, it's tricky because he can't – the way that this lineup is kind of set, he is your 4C, but he doesn't play a 4C game.
Correct.
And developmentally, a 4C game isn't good. So,
yes.
Let's play out all of the worst possible versions of the early career of Jet Lachenko. The Flyers keep him here all year. They play him as a 4C. He learns some bad habits. He doesn't really improve on his offensive game, most notably the willingness and the ability to put the puck on the net and to shoot. He ends up becoming Scott Laughton 2.0. That would not be a great outcome based on how they drafted him and what they expected him to become.
I feel okay. I might be in the. I might be a little bit in the.
I swear, if you say Scott Laughton, a second Scott Laughton would actually be pretty good.
No.
I actually like Scott Laughton a lot.
I do.
I think he's missed here.
I do, to a degree. In the room, especially. In the room, I see it every day. But it's a good room. And that's actually his legacy, is how good of a team and culture there is. But anyway, no, my thing with Jet Lachenko is, as much as you need him to score and it'd be nice for him, the kid can pass. Let him pass. Yes, he is passing too much, and he is passing in the wrong times at times. He's right in the slot and he passes it. Not ideal.
Yeah.
But his vision and the way he sees the game, if the kid wants to pass 75%, let him.
This is the mentality that got the Sixers screwed with Ben Simmons.
I don't know.
Can't have it. Can't have it. Kid's got to shoot. Here's the thing. Ultimately, I think
Adam Most made a ton of money without shooting, really. He has his goals, but he was an assist man. Just saying. I'm not saying
Jake Voracek was an assist man. Jake Voracek also has been tweeting some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, we won't discuss.
We don't. It's amazing that he has anybody left to block, though. That was my big takeaway from Voracek. The guy used to search his own name, not his handle. He used to just look for his name and then block people.
Oh, before my time.
Part of that culture you got to clear out. Got to clear out a lot of... Anyway. The thing with Lutsenko is that I think it's just become very clear, like, if he were coming into these games and making a significant impact,
yes,
or like a quasi-significant impact where you say, all right, like, Michkov is having this great game, which he's not. But, like, Michkov's having a big game. Konechny's really contributing. Couturier, the Brink, Cates, Forster line, that one, and they're all going. But Lutsenko's like the 6th best player, but it's not a huge gap. Then you go, all right, what do we do? Do we keep him here?
Yeah.
But he's not doing that. He's also not, like, at a point where he looks so wildly out of place that it's an embarrassment to have him on the ice.
Correct.
But I do think that these few games so far have kind of pretty firmly established, like, he's not ready for this yet. Which isn't an indictment. He's 19.
He's 19. And a young, like, he only literally turned 19 at the end of...
August? Was it August?
Yeah, he's a Leo, so,
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm a Leo, so. But, shocking, right? But I
don't
think...
know what any of it means. I don't know what it means.
Maybe someone in the comments.
Intern, what are you? What's your thing?
I have no idea.
Are you serious?
I have no idea.
What's your birthday?
November 27th.
What does that make him?
I don't know.
That's not a Libra. Is that a Scorpio?
It might be a Scorpio.
Is that a Scorpio?
What are you?
News to me.
I'm a Libra.
Wow.
I am.
That means you're agreeable with everything, right?
I'm agreeable. I guess I'm a scale. I'm a scale, which makes me feel really sad. Because sometimes I get on the scale and I feel really good, and sometimes I get on the scale and I feel really bad. So thanks a lot, astrology. Anyway,
but he's a young 19.
Yes.
And I will say, like, I think there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. He was picked, in the first round. He was picked where they maybe didn't want to go for other players. There's a lot of pressure on that. Well, what?
Zibuyan.
Oh, yeah, Zibuyan.
No big deal.
Who's also, like, yeah, he has some points, but not very good defense with the plus minus, right?
Whoa, SanFilippo, you put on it. Whoa.
Sorry, did I?
Whoa, did the spirit of SanFilippo take up? So we got Lutsenko. I want to talk about Grabenkin a little bit more. I know that we kind of touched on him a little bit here about the greasiness, the stickiness, all that.
Grabenkin. Well, wait, with Lutsenko, though, it's a dilemma.
Yeah.
It's an absolute dilemma what to do with him.
He's going to have to go back.
Yeah.
And then he'll go to junior, like the World Juniors. They'll
I think
him
regardless of if he stays or if he goes, he's playing World Juniors.
Yeah. And hopefully, I think I'm all about the optics, right? I always keep a close eye on the optics, and I understand that social media is insane, and a lot of us should spend less time on it. But if he goes back to Guelph, there's going to be a vocal crowd that's going to say, what a loser, what a bust, what a horrible player. Zeev is in the NHL. They're going to do the whole thing. But if he goes to World Junior and he kills it, right? He just crushes. Is anybody going to have a negative thing to say? No, because you're probably going to say, hey, based on the level of play, based on the age, based on the competition, if he has a good showing there, it kind of gives him confidence. And it probably gives the fan base confidence in it. But I think it's more important that he gets confident. Because this is tough right now. And for a guy who probably felt like there was maybe an outside chance of making this roster and staying.
Yeah.
And now it's pretty clear that he's not likely going to stay. You got to figure out that next thing to kind of help him kind of get that boost, that morale boost.
No, I agree. And World Juniors, I think, was always the objective for him for this year, to be honest. I think, he played last year, but he wasn't utilized properly. It's a different coaching staff now for Hockey Canada. They know they made a lot of mistakes last year at World Juniors. Obviously, they finished, 5th?
It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. He was probably one of the best players if you watch the World Junior games. He was using his speed. He was using his IQ. I think he scored a shorthanded goal.
Didn't his time drop off significantly, though, at the end?
Yeah, because, he was one of the younger guys.
Yeah.
Hockey Canada usually goes for a very heavy 19, borderline 20-year-old age range. Connor Bedard's and even Shane Wright, like, when they played at young ages, like, that is not the norm for Hockey Canada. I used to cover a lot of Hockey Canada stuff. Like, that is not the norm for Hockey Canada. So he was 18 and playing. That was a young age. I mean, if you think of who his teammates were on that team, you have your Oliver Bongs, your Carson Bjarnason, your Denver Barkey should have been on the roster. But those are kids that they drafted like 2 years before him. So, but yeah, it's a dilemma. He's a good kid. He works hard. And again, the comparison to Boom. I mean, defenseman, forward, very different worlds. Boom played college hockey before he came to the NHL. That's a big difference between that and juniors, and especially on a bad Guelph team.
Yeah.
There's also the difference in terms of just body type and Zeev Boom has points. He actually looks a little overmatched sometimes on defense. Like
He's also 19.
He's also 19 again. So you take it all. Age is age. That has to be a huge factor.
Yeah.
And I don't think the door's closed on him. Like nobody should be closing the door on Jet Lachenko. I mean, he's literally 19 years old. I mean, you guys play today until what? How old is Brandon Marchand's contract? 43.
He's old.
Yeah,
he's an old guy.
He's going to play until 43. I should say.
Older.
He's not
chap.
that old yet.
I don't want to offend anybody who's in and around the 40-year-old crowd. Intern, hurt their feelings if I say old. But I won't say it. I want to get back.
Grabenkin.
I want to get back to back check, forecheck, paycheck. Let's get to Grabenkin. He, to me, is the most interesting player on the team. He was the most interesting player through the preseason.
Yep.
And to me, obviously the season doesn't live or die by Nikita Grabenkin. But typically when we talk about fourth-line players,
yes,
it's usually like a Nick Delorier. It's usually a long-held guy that's down there to play a specific role. And Grabenkin to me is interesting because he's not an older player.
Yes.
He's a guy that was brought in that was not a throwaway in the Lawton trade.
That was actually the key.
But a very interesting player. And there was a thought early in the preseason, Grabenkin's really going to have to work his ass off to have a chance. And he did. And he's been here. And I'd say he's been, except for the Winnipeg game, he has been a menace to play against.
Yes. I've always been a fan of the grinders and the guys who work hard and the guys who forecheck, and you could tell that they put themselves on the line a lot. That's the guys I've always been a fan. That's why as soon as I met Shane Van Sagi, I was like, this guy's a freaking flyer. The way he plays the game and his personality, Grabenkin's like that. Right? He's a guy who controls the boards, he forechecks, he works hard. Now, Tocchet has said, he loves to go to the net, and we love him to go to the net, but maybe that's a little in the wrong spot sometimes, kind of thing, and that's something that they want to control. I think that's a little bit... I remember seeing there was a conversation with Grabenkin, and I want to say it was Yogi on the bench the last time he played, where, they were talking about something, and he was pointing, and, I think they love his game. They just need this... parts of it that they need to refine, obviously, for him.
Yeah.
But he's even a third line. I think in today's NHL, and I think Tocchet has kind of mentioned it, and Torts also to a degree, there's no longer fourth line that plays 5 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Your fourth line needs to play. You roll lines. And that's what's been successful for a lot of teams over the years, Florida, right? Winning the cup.
Yeah.
They roll lines. There's nobody who's just sitting back and taking a drink from that cup without being at least 7-8 minutes a game kind of thing, maybe even more. They really roll lines, and I think I'm not saying Lachenko is a fourth liner at all, but if that line can get going, and Garnett plays a really heavy game too, that could be a potentially a pretty good line. Him and Garnett and Grabenkin play a little similar. I think Garnett will kill me, but he has a little bit more skill, and I think he could put the puck in a little bit more. Don't tell him I said this, but I think they play very similar where they can control and wreak havoc on the defense.
You mentioned about rolling lines and how this coach and other coaches, they like to roll 4 lines, but in recent games, Tocchet has admittedly not really rolled 4 lines. He's been shortening it to give or take 3 lines. And most notably, the guy that has been coming out late in games is the guy that the people are paying the money to see, is the guy that, if this team is going to become a cup contender at some point in the not-too-distant future, it is largely going to be on his back. So Matvei Mishkov has not had a tremendous start to the season by any metric.
No, but if you think about it, last year it wasn't as... It took him forever to score a 5-on-5 goal, if you remember. He didn't score in his first game. His first goals was 2 goals against Edmonton, which, if I remember correctly, were both on the power play. He didn't score 5-on-5. I think it was 7 or 8 games into the season. Not worried, but watching back specific plays that people have talked about, the goal against Winnipeg, the goal against Minnesota, the only goal Minnesota scored with Tarasenko.
Yep.
He's out of the zone.
Yeah, Jordan Hall put the screenshot
Yeah.
of it in, and he's practically almost out of the frame. The shot is from behind the goal, way up at the very top of the screen, past the blue line. You can see a little dot, and that little dot is Matvei Michkov.
And there was another play someone posted where there's a board guys go for the puck along the boards. Matvei peels off. It's a 50-50 puck. You don't know if you're getting it back. Why are you leaving the zone? I get it. He wants to be offensive. And in all honesty, that specific play, which was in the third period, if you look at it, if he had stayed in his position as the right winger, the puck would have popped out right to him.
Mm-hmm.
But because he flew out, it went away from because the defenseman backed up.
Yeah.
It went away from them. Then the defenseman is facing the play and skating forward, skates in, gets the puck, and, they keep the pressure on. I noticed it last year. I don't think Torts was wrong when he benched him at times or scratched him. I just think maybe how he handled it was a little on the bad side, or maybe not explaining it. Tocchet explains it.
Yeah.
He's basically said he needs to stop cherry picking.
Yeah.
So we saw it last year.
He also kind of gave him the out with the ankle injury that no one had heard of. And the only tricky thing with that, and correct me if I'm wrong.
But this isn't a conditioning thing. He's misreading plays.
And so I've asked everybody who's been on so far this season at this desk. I don't recall in the preseason or even training camp, I don't recall anybody saying, "Oh, Mishkov's got an ankle."
No.
Mishkov looks hurt. Mishkov looks whatever.
I didn't think he looked that bad in the preseason.
It felt like the first two games of the season that included the Canes game where he didn't play in overtime.
Yes.
That is where people started sounding alarm bells and saying, well, why isn't he playing? And last year with Torts, you get annoyed. Excuse me. With Tocchet, I think
sneeze?
That was.
Bless you.
Thank you. It was a very cute church mouse sneeze. Yeah, you don't want to blow, sneeze all over the board. With Tocchet, I think the fans, to some extent, have been trying to give a little bit of a grace period there where you're still trying to feel out the coach. And some people have their preconceived notions. And I've been seeing plenty of people saying, oh, Tocchet's just, a Tortorella who's nicer to the media. But, realistically, I don't remember there being any kind of discourse until he didn't play in that overtime. And then it was, oh, there's this ankle injury. He didn't get to do all of his conditioning. He's behind the eight ball a little bit, yada, yada, yada. To me, it doesn't totally look like that. That almost feels like a cover story.
I don't know. I've heard some things. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest with you. So I can't really speak on it. Yeah, I was actually homesick for the home opener, so I missed it. I heard it, and I was like, wait, what are we talking about? There was no mention of it. But still, no matter how conditioned you are, that doesn't give you an excuse to not play defense. It doesn't give you an excuse to not read plays properly. If you're saying he's not conditioned and he doesn't have the energy for the third period or the last 5 minutes, okay, fine. But if you watch those, especially that Tarasenko goal,
it's bad.
It's bad. So Tarasenko knocks the puck down right at the middle between the circles at the blue line, right?
Yep.
And Matvei cuts across in front of him, misses him, and starts backing out because he thinks that when Drysdale blocks the shot, he's going to give him the outlet.
Spring him, yeah.
There's no guarantees. It's not a guarantee that that's going to happen. He's misreading the plays because Jamie's just knocking it down to knock it down, to get it away from the front of the net.
Well, and then the somewhat interesting timing of it, I guess, is that around the same time, Torts goes on national TV, and he's talking about, I think it was during one of the intermission reports.
Yeah.
He's saying about how last year with Mishkov, he would
he'd want the penalty.
His eyes were like a laser beam through Torts, that whenever there was somebody had to go serve the bench mine or whatever, he always knew Mishkov wanted to take it because Mishkov loved the idea of coming out of the box and having that breakaway. So
Joel used to do that.
Yeah.
And he actually would score, which was the funny part. I mean, with Torts, we would joke about that. Is that kind of your game plan is, taking too many men, Joel goes in the box, comes out and scores on a breakaway, kind of thing. Yeah, I get it. But how many times do you see that happen in a season, not even a game?
It doesn't happen a lot.
I don't know. I just watched those two specific plays because you see it and you kind of go, okay, whatever. But those two plays to me, because they've been pointed out, does help. But I will say, like, it just shows he's misreading. He's misreading 50-50s, and he's misreading, like, yeah, the Flyers had I think it was a 2-on-1 on the board when that puck came out. But two guys go to that one guy. That means there's somebody else open. There's multiple people open for the Wild. Like, it's just he's peeling out too quickly. He's playing too high in the zone in those kind of situations. He needs to be a little lower. He needs, like Tocchet said the other day, because I asked him about, I can't remember what the question was specifically. It might have been about Matt Fay or whatever, but he said, like, yeah, it was about Matt. It was yesterday. Days all blur. But he said, like, being the winger in a box and one is the easiest job. Mm-hmm. You stay in your little corner, you deal with the defenseman, you see a guy in the slot that's open, maybe you come down. It's really, and he's right. Like, the difficulty is with your defenseman switching with the center, because the center comes down low and plays, below the hash a lot. Like, yeah, get it, right? Like, that's a lot of communication, a lot of switching, a lot of talking, a lot of movement. Wing's pretty easy. I mean, we've, playing even just like beer league hockey, the wing, that's your guy. And even if it's, zone, that's your guy. You stay in that area. He's just flying out too early.
And it's funny that you mentioned wing and how much easier wing is, and especially in this system. It's funny because, like, in a way, Trevor Zegras in the preseason was centering a line that had Mishkov on it, right? And there was some chemistry going, I think, between Zegras with Mishkov and Grabenkin, and you go, oh, well, that would be a really fun line, right?
And with Couturier in the middle, too, actually.
And then you go, yeah, but, Mishkov's not a 200-foot player. Zegras really isn't a 200-foot player. And so then you go, all right, can you really play them together? But, in a weird way, maybe that is the way to maximize them offensively. But to this point, they've now moved Zegras to the wing for a few games, and
well, it's a hybrid. It's not a full.
Dvorak's taking the face-offs, and
So the thing, though, also is that we got to stop going back to Torts. But if you go back to Torts, he was more into the risk, risk over reward over risk. Tocchet is not. So when I talked to him in May, right after he got hired, we did a Q&A for the Inquirer. He said he doesn't like that, like, wagon hockey. He doesn't like. What he called it, like river.
Yeah, river hockey.
River hockey. He doesn't like river hockey, which makes sense, right? If you look at his lines, there's a balance, right? You got Zegras, who's a defensive mind, Dvorak, who's more the defensive-minded guy on that line. Zegras can do his thing. Tippett's been moved off that line now. Like Tippett, if I remember correctly, Tippett's now on the first line with Konechny and Couturier, like he ended the game. There's different elements and things, so. I do think him and Zegras see the game similar, but the question is, again, you can't leave. It's not even about offensive zone. Go at it, have fun.
Yeah.
Neutral zone, a little bit more conservative, but you can't leave. I mean, like, that goal alone, they should have that picture up in his locker just to be like, hey man, don't do this. Like,
before we have to go.
Yes.
But mostly me, gave John Tortorella a very hard time, because Torts quite often would intentionally sit guys when they were on the road in front of their families and then say, oh, I had no idea. He's full of mierda. I just learned this just now. You know what today is?
Sam Erson's birthday.
Sam Erson's birthday. You know where Sam Erson isn't playing to start the game?
The net.
In net. You know why? Because he's been dog doo-doo in goal this year.
I don't think he's been
bad.
I don't think he's been that bad. I'm a big believer in Sam Ersson. I think if you look at the goals that were allowed, Scheifele goal, okay, maybe he should have had that one
goal
back.
Number 2, yeah.
But the rest of those goals, how do you blame the one that goes off Noah Cates?
The third one was a little bit wonky.
One of them was a 2-on-1.
Oh, here we go. You know who would stop a 2-on-1? The man who's in net tonight, Dan Vladar. Darth Vader, baby, Darth Vladar.
So here's the one thing I will say that I'm starting to wonder. They've known Sam Ersson for a very long time. And, I used to be in New York, and I used to cover the New York market a lot more, right?
Yeah.
And when Henrik Lundqvist was in net, there was a lot of lax defense because they knew it was Henrik Lundqvist in net.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if, because they're still new with Dan Vladar, maybe there's a little less trust. Not that I'm saying they're doing it on purpose, but you know what I mean? There's a little less, unknown. So you play a little... Look,
they know Sam Harrison, and if they think they can play even remotely lax or even subconsciously they're playing lax in front of Sam Harrison, they are dumb as hell.
I'm saying they know his game, but you can't argue with the odd man rushes and the goal off of Noah Cates. I mean, let's be realistic.
Also, are you comparing Sam Harrison to Henrik
No,
Lundqvist?
I'm not.
No, he's not.
No,
Jeez.
I'm saying, look, I don't know about you guys, but when I played hockey, and let's say the goalie's late, and the goalie's still getting dressed, and the game has to start because you only
did
have
you play goal?
No, I didn't play goal. I played defense a lot, but like usually your team plays pretty solid when there's like no goalie in net. You know, like I can't even tell you how many times we've had like a shutout until the goalie shows up because everyone's all over the other team. You don't even want to let them like shoot it from like the blue line in kind of thing. Like teams, it's a weird thing that happens with hockey where like. Yeah, like no goalie. All of a sudden, everyone like we're the greatest defensive team out of nowhere, and then the goalie comes in, and of course we let in like 5. But
So
you know,
you heard it here first. Jackie Spiegel says Sam Harrison is Henrik Lundqvist 2.0.
I did not say that.
Let,
they are
let
Swedish.
the people know where they can find you.
They both are Swedish. Inquirer.com and Twitter, Instagram. I did a whole video on like the road trip recently, so check that out. Doing a lot more videos this year. So
That's good.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
good.
I used to work in TV. Might as well use what I learned. So
See that?
Yeah.
The great Jackie Spiegel. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, we gotta rush through our predictions here as we get started. Anthony SanFilippo, again, tending to a family emergency, so he will not be here tonight.
He said 3-2 Flyers.
3-2 Flyers was Ant San Philly.
I'll take the Flyers 4-3. Little bit higher scoring.
Wow. So here's my problem. This is my quandary that I have. Seattle's 3-0-2. Jackie said 4. You said 4-2 who? She's going Flyers too. See, I think everybody's crazy. Seattle is 3-0-2 this season. They're 3-0-2. A point in every game. But man, I believe in Dan Vladar. I don't want to be wrong for believing in Dan Vladar. But this game makes me really nervous. I will take the Flyers tonight slightly begrudgingly, and I'm going to take the Flyers by a score of 4-2.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Flyers 3-2.
So
that's
that's
the same score as Ant.
Man, so again, we have all picked the Flyers. Jackie Spiegel picked the Flyers. It's a pretty wild thing. I was just saying a little bit ago. Do you know what today is?
Yes, it's Sam Harrison's birthday.
You know what?
Is that what the answer you're looking for?
It is. But you know what's actually interesting about it? Rick Tocchet guaranteed that Sam Harrison would not be booed on his birthday.
That's true.
So you know what? Here's to you, Rick Tocchet, looking out for the mental health of his players. What do the Flyers have to do to find some early success in this game, Bundy?
Well, they got to keep limiting the teams to the middle of the ice, which they've done a good job of. They've really done a good job in terms of keeping a lot to the perimeter. They've only allowed 15 and 16 shots, respectively, in their last 2 games against, which is a significant number. I mean, when you start playing good defense like that, but that'll be the key. Seattle's going to crash in that. They don't have like a top-end superstar that's going to kind of wow you out of your seat. They have they're trying to score by committee, and the other night against Toronto, they really got into Stolar's wheelhouse, and they were making life difficult on him. So they're going to try to crash the net, and that's how they're going to try to come out and get the Flyers tonight.
We will be back first intermission, second intermission, post game here on the Press Row Show. Do us a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe. We'll have the StatCast up during play. We'll talk to you in the first intermission. to the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and your team, your town of the Philadelphia Flyers, a 2-1 lead, Bundy, over a very good Seattle team that entered tonight 3-0-2.
Flyers had a really good period. I thought Mishkov had his best period of the year. He made some good plays. Looked like he was up on his skating a little bit, which was a good sign. Flyers did. They got down 1-0. It was a top corner shot that looks like it ricocheted off somebody for Seattle's first goal. And then the Flyers got it even with Owen Tippett's goal. A nice redirection off of Nick Sealer's play. The goalie got himself caught out of the play, Joey Decord. And then on the it was Tyson Forster at the end of the power play.
Yep.
Yeah, just snapped a shot past Decord. It was a good goal. It gives the Flyers a 2-1 lead. They played a good period.
I want to throw something at you because you obviously know what you're looking at a lot better than I do. You've played this game at this level. The Flyers don't look like they get nervous with the puck the way that they did last year. I know that like some of the guys have kind of intimated this idea that like last year maybe, last couple of years, guys are afraid to make mistakes and that kind of be held against them. With the man advantage, for example, right? There was a delayed penalty early in that period. The Flyers maintained possession on that delayed penalty longer than I can remember them doing, like legitimately in like 2 years.
Yep.
They didn't look like they got flustered. They didn't look like they're gripping the sticks too tightly, like they're afraid to make a mistake. And then that power play itself, like they're rotating the puck around a lot. It doesn't feel like they're holding for that perfect pass, right? They're not killing the clock, just waiting. They're moving it constantly.
The power play, when they have possession, has been really good. Outside of that, though, let's not forget Seattle had a couple of half breakaways. They had one full breakaway and a half breakaway on a 2-on-1 that actually Vladar was really good on both of them. And that kept the score from being 2-1 Seattle. So give the goaltender some credit. The Flyers' power play has moved the puck around well in the offensive zone, but it needs to clean up the surrounding areas.
I saw a comment over here, by the way, that said, I think I witnessed a Jetlachenko shot. You did.
You did.
Do not adjust your TV, your tablet, your phone, your laptop, whatever other device you have, maybe a projector shooting at the garage door, like some people do in my neighborhood. No, not that. You actually did see a Jetlachenko shot on net. Now, Bundy, obviously that has been a very big talking point, Lachenko's need to put the puck on net. You see a guy like that who has been hesitant to shoot. He does it early in the period. What do you do as the head coach to make sure that that's not the only one? Like, that's not the token shot on net that he needed to hit a certain quota. Like, what do you do if you're Rick Tocchet to say, attaboy, let's do some more of that?
He needs to skate. He needs to really be one of the Flyers' better skaters if he's going to show himself as a young player like he is in this league. They had a nice shot. He drove the net, kept his feet moving, and just fired the puck at the pads of Decord. But it was a good shot. It easily could have gone in. You know, it's not easy being a young guy when you're kind of in between what you're supposed to be, what you think you're supposed to be anyway. You know, if he was in junior, he'd be the number one forward on the team, getting all the points, but that's not what he is here. He's going to have to find a groove defensively and execute that role defensively. I mean, if it takes a year for him to having to play in a defensive structured role before he goes back to his offensive ways, so be it. But when he has a chance to move his feet and get shots at the net, he has to take those opportunities.
One of the guys that obviously we've talked a pretty good bit about, especially given his role on the team, is Kraken. He got himself into a little kerfuffle there, a little scuffle. It's pretty much like a body slam in a sense, but not a full on. It wouldn't make. Who was the guy that intern Andrew used to like, who then was kind of sketchy? What was that guy's name? Intern, the UFC guy. What was his name?
Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, that guy. So it wasn't quite a Bryce Mitchell. It's not a Patty Pimblett takedown. But Bundy, you see Kraken get back in the lineup, and he tries to get into a scrap there. Kind of takes the guy out real fast. Your thoughts there on an energy guy like that getting involved like that? Right time, wrong
he's
time?
obviously not a fighter. He's a guy that's trying to produce some points and some checking in those depth line roles, but he came out with some energy. I thought he played pretty well. He doesn't need to fight, but something must have happened. He got ticked off, and emotions got the best of him.
Let's go to the guy in net, the man that we call Darth Vladar on the show. Doesn't get flustered, doesn't get rattled. Your thoughts on Vladar in his, what is now, first of a back-to-back start for him. Up until this point, they've been rotating between Ersson and Vladar. Tonight is the first time they bucked that trend, and Vladar is in net for his second consecutive start. What have you seen so far out of Vladar?
Really good, solid. Makes the ordinary save, which you have to make, and then he makes it a little bit above and beyond the normal save too, which you absolutely have to have. And he kept the Flyers in that game, gave him a chance to take the lead in that period. I thought he's been really, really solid down in and around the crease. In Seattle last game against Toronto, they really crashed the crease a lot. They're really a pesky team, and I think he did a great job that period, keeping things at bay, making the routine saves when he had to, and also the big ones when he had to also.
A lot of times it feels like we talk about, and in recent years, we've talked about the guys playing in front of the goalies. This even goes back to like Hart as the starter, Hart and Ersson. Then last year, Ersson, Kolosov, Fedotov. And you talk about, well, the guys look like they play better in front of this goalie. Whatever. Can we take the inverse of that? Like, to this point, these guys, through, the games against Florida, the game against Minnesota, they've been able to see that Vladar doesn't give up that softie. He doesn't give up that stupid goal that makes you want to rip your hair out. As a player, is there kind of like that inverse feeling of, this guy's got it? You don't have to worry quite as much.
Yeah, there's a feeling where you feel as a team that your goaltender is going to give you a really good chance and that he's going to be tough to beat on any given night. And I think that's kind of like where they're at right now. And I think where the goaltender's at for his team. I always say with goaltending is a strange position. You never have to be really great. You just have to be good.
Yeah.
If the opportunity comes where you got to make a 10-bell save, then you have to make that 10-bell save. But being a good, steady force back there is better than being a goalie who makes one great save once in a while and lets a bad one in. And Vladar has provided a lot of stability since the puck dropped beginning of this year.
Now, one thing for people to keep in mind, we talked about this on my show earlier this afternoon, but he's never played more than 30 games in a season.
Right.
And obviously, if you go back to the season where Hart had to step away, the 23-24 season, and Ersson ends up taking over at that point in his stead and tries to become the number one. And then last year we saw that Ersson just couldn't stay healthy. There is a significant jump in expectations and the actual physical toll of being an every night starter. Do you have any concern? And do you think that Rick Tocchet should, in theory, have any concern that Vladar's never had to play more than 30 games in a season and, maybe being worried that he, can he hold up to a starter's load if that's the way they go?
He'll be cognizant of it, but the luxury he has right now, like the Flyers haven't had a 4-6 or a 3-4 type of night yet where you really tax your goaltenders. You're going every other night, so you have the liberty to start who you want. Yeah. He played well enough to earn another start tonight with his season's not too taxing right now. But I think that he's really, really made a lot of big saves in the games he's played that's given the Flyers a chance in those games to win those games or get a point.
I've been really impressed.
Yeah, he's been great.
It's amazing what a difference it makes. Even from our perspective, though, it's amazing what a difference it makes when you come down and you're watching these games and you're trying to analyze and assess, and you don't have to necessarily spend as much time almost like watching with your breath kind of held every time the opposition comes back down the ice and you're just waiting for that dumb goal to go in. And to this point, to have somebody who's again, it's a really small sample size. I don't want to overrate it. I don't want to jinx it. But a guy who's actually playing steady in net, it really does change things.
It does, for sure. I mean, you get that extra save, and that's what I felt like Ersson hasn't provided this team. That one extra save a game that keeps the puck, keeps the look of the game what it's supposed to look like and not chasing a deficit. So nothing against Sam. He's played some good hockey here too, but in terms of where they're at right now and evaluating both goaltenders, Tocchet made the right start giving Vladar the back-to-back starts.
It's also probably worth noting, and I see Superfan Eric, the concerned fan, he's over there, and he put it in the comments as well, about Kolosov being off to a really good start down with the Phantoms. And that's another thing, right? Last year we talked about the fact that he was probably best suited going to the AHL for a year, spending a year in that league in North America, getting acclimated, and then maybe this year he would have been the backup. It's funny, the way that things worked out, it was not an ideal situation last year. They tried to rotate 3 goalies. It was a total disaster. It almost felt like he lost out on a year of development, and oddly enough, had he been down in the A and played really well, he might have actually been up for the starting job here this year, right? Maybe you don't go out and sign a Dan Vladar because you feel so good about Kolosov. Based on what I can see over on Elite Prospects, he's started 2 games this year. He's got a .969 save percentage and a 1.0 goals against. Now, obviously, teeny tiny sample size. But if you think about it, Bundy, last year, things looked like an absolute disaster at this level. And then in the A, things were kind of tricky. Now you have Vladar giving you some consistency. You hope Ersson bounces back. Kolosov's playing well. Bjarnason, they're going to kind of shelter a little bit. And he's played well. All of a sudden, things don't look rosy, right? They don't look like the most incredible situation in the National Hockey League, but you feel at least a little bit better.
100%. A lot better than where they were. Same with the goaltending, right?
Yeah, and guys not being forced into roles that they aren't ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, guys are playing where they're slotted where they're supposed to play. they're asked to do a certain thing by their coach, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Obviously, a guy that everybody's been focused on here, especially in recent games, Matvei Michkov. Jackie Spiegel and I were talking about a pregame. There were a couple of clips going out and a couple of screenshots. One of them was on the Tarasenko goal last game. And if you look at it from behind the goal, Michkov is like out past the blue line. He's almost like a distant. You ever see the picture of Earth from Voyager, right? Voyager's going out to the, and it looks back. It's the little blue dot, right? That was Michkov. Screenshot. He's
flying the zone.
He's this little orange dot, like way up in the corner. And you go, all right, that's probably not going to sit well with Tocchet.
No.
This game, especially when they had a man advantage, I think it was on the delayed penalty, Michkov was like flying around the ice. I mean, that guy loves being up a man. What did you see from Michkov in the first period?
Much better, making quick plays with the puck. Had a great shot on net. That was a nice pass on like a wide 2-on-1. He's making quicker plays on the power play. And he's moving his feet a little bit better than I've seen him move all year. So, I mean, he's not a fleet of feet. He's not going to wow you with his speed out there. He's a small space operator that's got quick feet when he moves in the offensive zone. But I think that this has been easily his best period of the season so far.
Travis Konechny almost scored. There was a shot that he had that I believe hit the paddle of the goalie in that period.
Yes.
He's yet to find the back of the net. We talked about the end of last season. You said don't worry about those things, but what do you do if you're Rick Tocchet if this extends a few more games? Like, obviously, you hope that Konechny is able, like maybe it's on a power play or something, find the back of the net. What do the Flyers have to do? What does Rick Tocchet have to do? What does somebody have to do to make sure that he doesn't get in his own head about not finding the back of the net yet?
Keep playing him and tell him to play the game the right way. If he's playing the game the right way, the goals will come eventually. It's when you start forcing things and doing things that you're not accustomed to doing because you're not scoring, that's when you end up making mistakes and you end up looking bad on the ice. So I think he played a good first period here tonight. Again, the chances were there. He had a couple opportunities, but they're just not going in right now. They will go in if he continues to play the game the right way and not cheat the system.
I want to get over to intern Andrew because, of course, it's the first intermission, and that means that it's time for intern Andrew's stat of the night. Intern, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good to hear that. All right, so a couple of things attached to both of the goals that the Flyers scored. Number one, Owen Tippett now has scored at least one goal in 3 games in a row, which is the 5th time in his career that he's accomplished such a streak. Only one 4-game goal streak in his career, though. So Thursday against Ottawa, keep an eye on Tippett. He can match his career long. And then also Tyson Foerster. I know you guys mentioned it briefly. Can you believe it? The first power play goal the Flyers have scored at home all season, finally, at long last.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only the second one overall.
Yeah, second one, so they're 2 for 17 now or something like that.
Yeah. So finally, the Philadelphia faithful got to see one go in. But yeah.
Well, thank you, intern. That was very well.
You got it.
Is it like, Bundy, am I nuts by saying that I just feel genuinely like the end of the Rocky Thompson horror show, the end of the Rocky Thompson experiment as the power play coach, even though it took, what was it? This is the 4th home game. It took 4 home games to see a power play goal. Am I crazy for thinking that it still has looked considerably better than it did last year?
Oh, there's no doubt. That was one of my keys to the game tonight on 97.5 The Fanatic on pregame radio tonight was the power play. Even though it was, I think it was like at 6.7%, 1 for 15. I think they've done some good things. They just weren't getting the results. But I think the setup has been good. I think the opportunities have been good. And unfortunately, the only thing that wasn't happening was the puck going in net. I mean, the goal they just scored was not a traditional power play goal. It was a broken play in the corner, power play running out, and Foerster decided to shoot from the outside, it worked. I mean, you get the credit as a power play goal, but that was not a traditional setup. But I do think that their power play has done a really, really good job in terms of generating opportunities, all the while not scoring any goals on it until they did tonight.
Now, I guess the big thing here, Bundy, is you got to build on some momentum. They've gotten some momentum going their way. That second goal, the Foerster goal, is interesting to me. I actually want to talk really quickly about him before what the Flyers have to do, to start the second period. Foerster had some moments last year where you go, I don't know. Over the offseason, it felt like there wasn't a paradigm shift in the way that the organization looked at him, but you started hearing about how, like Tocchet said, Sidney Crosby told him about how he loved playing with Foerster. Foerster is a total sponge. He's got his head on the right way. When you see a guy like that, again, younger guy, somebody that people have a lot of hope for, guy who's been on a very productive line for this team, when you see him have the confidence to rip the shot like he did and to get you that lead, that's got to be a good feeling for him and for the team, obviously.
Because he's coming as a hockey player. He's continuing his development. He's continuing to push forward. 25 goals last year. I think he's got more than that on his stick this year. Could be a 30-goal year for him, I think, if he keeps playing the way he is. But he's a guy that's we've watched him since he took the lineup, and sometimes people are saying, where does he fit right now?
Yeah.
But he's really, really, really developed into a nice player and a guy that's only going to get better.
Now, Bundy, I always ask you, what do the Flyers have to do in the first 5 minutes of this game?
Stay out of the penalty box, get your feet moving, establish that forecheck, and start playing in Seattle's zone a little bit more.
That wasn't what I was going to ask you.
Well, what were you going to ask me then?
I was going to ask you, what does Seattle have to do to get back in this game?
Seattle has to
I wasn't.
do.
Come on,
like,
this is a
I
Flyers
really care.
show. What are we talking about? If you're Rick Tocchet, what's the one thing that the Flyers did very well in the first period that you want to see them continue in the second?
Puck movement and getting shots towards the net. I think the Flyers had 9 shots that period.
Yeah.
9?
10. Yeah, 10.
10 shots that period. They did a really good job in the offensive zone, finding the open man and taking the shot when it was there. They haven't passed up a lot of shots, and I think that's a difference from tonight than it was the other night against Minnesota.
One guy that I kind of want to focus in on at some point is Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about him in the second.
Okay.
Because that's a guy that was the big acquisition in the offseason. People were really excited about. He's had some flashy plays. He's had signs of life. It's not like the guy totally has gone invisible to start the season. But let's focus in on him. We'll talk about him during the second intermission. And of course, intern Andrew will be back with trivia time. Do us a favor, like the video, share the video, and subscribe over on YouTube. And don't forget, you can find the Press Row Show and Snow the Goalie in your podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. You mute the game, watch that. StatCast will be up, so don't go anywhere. Watch the game on whatever device and keep this one up on StatCast. We will talk to all of you in the second intermission here on the Press Row Show. Welcome to the Retro Show, the number one rated pregame and intermission with postgame show at the side of the Mississippi South Circle north of the equator. Wow, Bundy, you beaut. 5-2.
This was a game I picked the other night where I said the Flyers 6-4.
You did.
Yeah, it ended up being the second lowest game you could have had last game in the 2-1 final. But tonight, no, I mean, the Flyers they've done a lot of good things. Their power play's been cooking. They got 2 power play goals. They're playing a really good brand of hockey, and as a result, they have a 5-2 lead over a team I think that they've dominated at times in this hockey game.
I actually want to lead off with the guy that I said I wanted to focus on that period, Trevor Zegras. And it might seem weird to bring it up, but Zegras has an assist tonight, which is now his 5th consecutive game with an assist.
Yep.
Now, he had that laser beam from behind the goal in the first home game, right? Yes. They went across the face of goal to Therien. And that was like the flashy, oh my God, like how nice is it to have a playmaker like that? Some of the assists haven't been nearly as aesthetically pleasing as that one, but my point, I guess, is regardless of whether or not it feels like he is involved in everything, he is still finding a way to impact games in a meaningful way and to just be involved in scoring plays. And that, for an off-season acquisition, is a really important thing, I'd imagine.
Who's that?
Zegras.
Oh, Zegras. Yeah, I mean, he's been good. You know, he leaves a lot to be desired, I think, in the D zone still. He's still trying to learn the system and to be a better defensive player, but he's got great vision. He's got good, really soft hands. And he finds the open guy when he's available, too. I mean, I actually think there's opportunities where he can shoot a little bit more than pass. But he is a passer. He's a disher. That's what he is.
You want to talk about a guy who's shooting the puck, guy who's putting the puck on net. Sometimes he'll go like 15 games in a row, where like if you're sitting in the first like 15 rows of the arena, you might want to watch every time he shoots because he's going to deliver a souvenir to the fans. Owen Tippett is putting the puck on net, and he is finding that net.
Yeah.
Question in the comments was
5 goals on the year for him
from over here from Poonugs 39. I love Poo Nugs. I'm telling you, man, I love Poo Nugs, man. Will Tippett consistently do this, or will he flame out?
Well, he is a streaky scorer, right? So, I mean, I've seen guys their whole careers that never got out of the streakiness. So, I mean, I think you're going to have to take the goals in bunches when they come and then live with the games that he doesn't score. But that's been his MO since junior. He's been a streaky scorer, and I assume that's going to continue at this level. I'd love to see more balanced scoring, like one goal every 2.5 games or something like that, where he gets up into the 30, 35, maybe 40 goal range if he could do that. But I think it's there. The talent is there to do it. He's got to shoot the puck like he's doing, and he's got to hit the net, which he's done a lot more of this year.
I would love to be proven wrong about Owen Tippett. I've said for a while, like he could be a 30-goal scorer, but he's maddening to watch at times. He makes boneheaded plays, and he'll just like have legitimately like multi-game stretches where he can't hit the broadside of a barn. But man, when he is on one of these runs, he looks like one of the most dynamic guys. And sometimes it's even something fluky, like last game, right, where he bangs it off I think it was the pad, right, of the goalie from behind the net.
When you're scoring, it goes in.
Yeah.
You know, that's the streakiness of scoring. I mean, he seems like he can put it in anywhere from now. But somebody asked me if this is a guy, if he's just starting to arrive now, like Tippett, you know, on his thing. You know what, I think there's more goals there. I really think there's a 35-goal season on his stick. But he's had to have done the things that were different than last year at times. And I think hitting the net is a really, really big thing.
Yeah.
Because he missed the net so many times last year, and you wonder how many goals were on his stick for those shots that he missed the net. Someone asked me about if he's like other power forwards that I played with. He's not. He's more of an open space type of player. Like he's a great skater. He's got really good one-on-one skills. Like Johnny Leclerc, he was a front of the net presence guy, like classic power forward. Cam Neely was the same way in Boston. They were hard to move off the puck. You couldn't really wrestle them out of the way in front of the net. They'd wait for the garbage to come there and they'd chip it in. Tippett is more of a rush scoring type of player than he is power forward in front of the net type of guy, like the vacuum cleaner that cleans up all the loose pucks.
There's another guy that I want to get to, actually 2 guys I want to get to. But before we do, we should bring in the third member of our team tonight. Anthony, we got a little bit of an update. Family emergency. It seems like things are significantly better than we initially thought pregame. So, we're thinking about Ant, thinking about the family.
Yeah.
But a little positive update there without getting into details. So, without Anthony here, it's just little old me and Bundy. Just two guys
And the intern.
hanging out, having fun. Right, guy number 2? Yeah, guy number 1. All right. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We like sports? Yeah. Intern Andrew is here, and since it is the second period, or the second intermission, it is time for trivia time with Intern Andrew. But Bundy, we're usually a 3-piece band welcoming him to the show. Tonight it's just going to be me and you.
All right, let's start. Yeah.
Thank you. So, it's tough to write, Flyers versus Kraken trivia. So I do have a question. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey, though, to try to connect these two teams. So you're just going to have to bear with me here for a second.
Does it feel like he's already hedging?
Yeah, I know. Okay, go ahead. Come on.
Hedging what?
You've been on a hell of a run, and it feels like you just kind of made an excuse and an excuse. Don't put yourself down.
I did, yeah.
Hey, believe in yourself. The people believe in you.
All right, I'll try. So the Kraken, who they're the newest expansion franchise in the NHL. Obviously, the Coyotes just moved and they became the Mammoth. But Kraken, the newest expansion, made the playoffs and actually won a playoff series in just their second year in the league. Now, pardon the pun here, but I would say the gold standard for expansion teams would be Vegas, who in their inaugural season made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Prior to Vegas doing that in the 17-18 season, the last time that an expansion team made the playoffs in their inaugural season, you got to go back to the 1979 expansion. There were 2 teams that made it in their inaugural season. The Hartford Whalers, who ended up losing the Canadiens in the first round, and then a Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier-led Edmonton Oilers team made it to the playoffs their inaugural season, where they were swept by your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, the Flyers swept them. That's right.
Flyers ended up making it all the way to the Cup final that year. So that was how we got there. That was the connection between the Kraken and Flyers. So in that first round series, it's best of 5 back then in the first round. Flyers won 2 out of their 3 games in overtime. You know who the 2 goal scorers were for the Flyers?
What year was that again?
79.
It was 1980 playoffs, though.
79,
Right.
80 playoffs.
2 overtime winners against what team?
Against the Oilers.
Against the Oilers. Is Bill Barber still here?
I believe he was on that team, but it's not him.
Not him, huh?
I have an idea. I don't know if he played that year.
Is Tim Kerr here then?
Not
No,
him.
Wasn't him.
There's no such thing as a bad idea, Russ.
Was one Poulin?
No.
When did Poulin?
Was he even here then in 80? I don't even know
I
when
don't
he
think
got
he
here.
was.
A couple people have gotten one of them.
I'm not looking up. I'm looking up Dave.
I'm not
Poulin.
looking. I don't have this. I don't have my screen on, so I don't look.
I need to get a better feel. Remember, 1980 was 10 years before I was born. Got to be careful. Now, Poulin started here.
2
He
years later.
Yeah. Okay. I got to reset. Are either of the guys like notable names that we should absolutely know? Or
Yeah. I'll say one of his jerseys is hanging right behind you.
Bob Clark.
Yes, he's won.
Okay, Bob
He scored in game 1, and then game 3, the series clincher, was a double overtime goal. Another center.
Another center.
This is the part where Ant usually very casually looks at the comments and acts like he wasn't.
Yeah, that's an. He goes, oh yeah. Then he reads the name
It's
off.
on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, Bundy. See how my middle finger just like looked at, or somebody just said Holmgren on the screen. Yeah, no,
It's not Holmgren.
maybe like a was Bill Clement. Bill Clement.
Bill Clement here then? I don't even know.
Mel Bridgman, maybe. Ken Linsman.
There you go.
Yeah, I
Ken
know.
Linsman.
Kenny Linsman?
I just pulled that.
I had it the whole time.
The Rat.
It
That's
was-
his nickname, the
it was
Rat.
it was on my soft palate.
There you go. Good job, Andrew Fawcett. There were a couple of Mike Butts got it. And Joseph DeAngelis got it as well.
There we go. Good stuff.
Almost right away, those guys got it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done to the viewers. By the way, I don't know if you saw this in the pregame, but there were people talking about how they see each other in different sections in the arena tonight. The snow, the goal. It's so funny to me that people who are in the arena are watching the press row show, listening to the press row show while they are here in the arena. Now, Bundy, it might have been a little bit easier to find the people tonight because this is another very poorly attended game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is upsetting.
October seems to be rough for hockey in general, and it has been in Philadelphia. I don't know if it's because of the Eagles season or Phillies baseball. People spent money on tickets, but October games, for some reason, whatever the reason, are lower attendant than other games. As the season moves on, you go to November, the crowd starts filling in more.
Tickets are still expensive. I was going over this the other day, but like I remember looking at tickets for the Minnesota game, and I was looking like if you're a family, say you're a family of 4 kids, it was like $120 per ticket face value through the Flyers site for Saturday's game, and I was like, that's just not right. And then we came here, and it wasn't the best attended game. Secondary market, you can find more affordable tickets, I guess. There have been times over the last few years where we've kind of like had that conversation.
You'll have to ask Mike Butts. Mike Butts seems to be the guy that gets his tickets. He's at every sporting event. He must get them at a good deal because he's at a lot of sporting events.
I guarantee you that Mike is going to have tickets to the Union playoff opener, and then he'll be at like a St. Joe's basketball game, then like Drexel lacrosse. And his Twitter timeline is just filled with him at different games, and
he gets around.
Good on. Hey, don't judge the man, all right? Don't judge. If he wants to get around, he can get around. Don't judge him for that. Is that a James Van Riemsdyk jersey? It is. No, that's not a Van Riemsdyk. Or is that
yeah,
Van Riemsdyk, yeah. Van Riemsdyk was 2 words, though.
I've seen a couple of weird jerseys tonight. Like Van Riemsdyk, I don't see a lot of those jerseys anymore.
That is a fake.
But I saw a Nolan Patrick jersey tonight.
Really? I'm sorry, what?
Right next to us, right there.
Really?
Right next to us, to our right. She's got a Nolan Patrick jersey on.
Oh.
Earlier, video guy Amadeo commented that there's a guy here with a Juan Soto Mets jersey.
Really?
Well, that guy
for no reason.
He should be thrown on the ice. That's awful.
We'll use him as the puck.
I saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Walked into the Sky Dome tonight in Toronto with a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey on.
It was a Matthews jersey, yeah. That's
people were like, get that jersey off.
Get that off.
That's worse than the Drake curse.
If you want to perform like Austin Matthews in the playoffs, then Vladdy's going to go for over. Golden sombrero tonight, like off. Oh no, not a good choice.
1-1 right now in the third.
Yeah. Yep. Deep fly to left field, and it is out of here. Home run for Seattle.
Was J-Rod?
Seattle just went up 2-1.
Wow.
Intern Andrew, the jinx. If you have money on Toronto, just keep in mind that was Intern Andrew's fault. Intern, we're gonna let you go.
All right, see you guys.
No, I mean we're gonna like you're done with the show.
Oh, really?
No.
It was a good run.
We've enjoyed you.
Thanks. I enjoy you guys too.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Bundy, 2 guys that I did want to get to. One is obviously Matvei Mishkov.
Yep.
He's kind of been, I don't know if I'd say he's like back like last year, but
I don't want to go that far
yet. I think
yet.
he's had a much better game tonight than he's had in other.
Taken baby step tonight.
Yeah.
He's done a better job. He's moved his feet. He's made smart plays with the puck when he's had to. A couple of little turnovers still, but he's going to do that. But he's been much better.
The other thing that video guy Amadeo just sent me the picture of the guy in the Juan Soto jersey. That's horrible. See this? Awful. Juan Soto jersey down in the lower level. Atrocious. Awful.
Would that be like seeing somebody in a Harper jersey at a Ranger game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be so weird.
I think that'd be weird.
If you're playing the Rangers tonight and the guy had a Soto jersey on, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
But why would you just wear a Soto
Islanders,
jersey? Yeah, Islanders or Rangers, right.
Yeah. Why Soto at a Seattle? Anyway. The other guy is Dan Vladar.
Yeah, he's been good. He makes the routine save. That's been the difference. He just makes that save that he's supposed to make.
And the reason that I am bringing up Dan Vladar isn't just because he's played well. Oh, no. It's because we finally have new merchandise over at shop.snowthegoalie.com. Friends, Darth Vladar. He is here, and he is ready. I'm going to find it better. I didn't think about the orange back. Oh, wait, no, I could do this. Here we go. We'll do this. Do this one. No. Wait. Hold on. I could do it. I'm an adult. I can do it. I can figure it out. Bring this one up. Black background. There. No, it's not going to go black background. Never mind. I take it back. I'm a dope. I'm useless. I'm an idiot. Here we go. We'll just share it from the shop. So over at shop.snowthegoalie.com, we finally have Darth Vladar merch. Now, I am very aware of the fact that last year we unveiled the Iron Giant during a Flyers game, and it went to hell in a handbasket, and Ivan Fedotov was never the same. I am at least slightly more confident that Dan Vladar is going to be a more consistent player. So we now have the regular T-shirt. There's a women's relaxed fit T-shirt, and there's a hoodie. But here's the design, ladies and gents. I mean, come on now. Shop.snowthegoalie.com. Darth Vladar. He's got the dual side, kind of like the Darth Maul throwback, right? He's got the lightsaber up here, the handle. Lower half is the hockey stick. He's got the hybrid mask. He's got the cape. Darth Vladar. You can go find that over at shop.snowthegoalie.com. T-shirt, women's relaxed fit, and hoodie. Go over there now. Go pick one up. They're fantastic. That is that. All right. Bundy.
You're going to ask me what the Flyers need to do in the first 5 minutes?
You're damn right I am.
You know what? They've played a really good game so far. I know Seattle's got 2 goals through 2 periods. Not the end of the world. The Flyers with 5. They need to go out, continue to get a forecheck going, keep on Seattle, and don't let them just keep clogging up the middle of the ice, which they've done in this game. Flyers have more shots already after the second period than they did in the entire game the other night against Minnesota. They've really, really taken it to Seattle at times in this hockey game, and they need to keep doing the same in the third.
Amadeo's saying they changed goalies. I guess they put Grubauer in.
They put Grubauer in, yeah. So I figured they weren't going to pull Decord before the end of the second, so they decided to try to spark the team by putting in Grubauer, and I don't know how that's going to work, but Flyers don't need to worry about that. They need to worry about their own game and what they do as a group.
We will be back post-game. Now, if all goes well, I don't want to say it. I won't say it because I fear the jinx. I will just note, Seattle to this point is 3-0-2 on the season.
Yeah. Also played 4 consecutive games past 60 minutes coming into this.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think 3 overtimes and a shootout.
And 1 shootout, yeah.
So
2-2 in those games.
Now, that is the one thing. This team is hardened. This team knows what to do to some extent with the extra session. A 3-goal lead, Bundy, not quite as dangerous as a 2-goal lead. We will be back post-game here on the Press Row Show. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. Let your friends and family know. This is the place to go for pregame, intermission, and postgame. The Press Row Show. We'll talk to all of you very soon. Oh, welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. This side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. Friends, Romans, countrymen, let me hear here's the Philadelphia Flyers had a very impressive 5-2 win tonight. Sam Erson's birthday, Darth Vladar in net. It's the best of both worlds. The Flyers get the win. Sam Erson doesn't get booed on his birthday. It's a great night in Philadelphia. Bundy, where do you want to start? Because there are a lot of guys that deserve some credit tonight.
A lot of positives out there. I could name a few off the top of my head. Grabenkin sticking up for his teammate in the first period. Those things mean something down the road when you're trying to glue a team together. I liked it. I know he took a 2-minute for the instigator, but who cares? I mean, it was fine. I love that camaraderie that they're starting to develop. TK had a good game tonight, had a fight, he had a goal. And then, of course, you got Tippett and Forster with 2 goals each in this game. They were the difference makers again. Tonight, Tippett's really hot right now. Forster's had a great start to the season. Power play scored 2 goals. Penalty kill was pretty sharp.
Yep.
It was a really, really good, well-balanced win tonight. And I thought even strength, the Flyers really did a good job of mucking up the middle again, making it difficult for Seattle to come through the middle of the ice. They had a couple of good shots and chances, did Seattle, but Vladar really stood tall when those shots came his way. It was a complete win tonight.
And I'll tell you what, we talked about this very briefly in the second intermission, for those who might have missed it. Oh, don't worry, friends. For the first time in a long time, we do, in fact, have some new merch available over at shop.snowthegoalie.com. Darth Vladar! I have to tell you, it's my favorite design we've ever had available. You can go get it over at shop.snowthegoalie.com. T-shirts, women's relaxed fit T-shirts. This was a request last year. We finally have them. And hoodies. Head over to shop.snowthegoalie.com. Darth Vladar. I got to tell you, Bundy, we're going to keep him up there for a second. Shop.snowthegoalie.com. Vladar. During the game, we had this conversation. During one of the intermissions, we had the conversation. You oftentimes talk about how a team plays in front of a specific goalie, and it's almost like, I think you mentioned this, no, it wasn't. It was Jackie pregame said, sometimes with a new goalie, guys try to play a little bit more defensively responsible until they figure out they have that feeling out process with the goalie. And we were talking about this during one of the intermissions, but it's like, in the case of Erson, for better or worse, this team kind of knows there's a chance that there's going to be like one of those soft goals given up. It's very frustrating. Vladar has just been able, he's now limited the opposition to 2 or few goals in every game that he's played so far this season.
That's really quite quality goaltending.
It allows the team maybe to not get in their own heads about, man, if we're not perfect in front of this guy, he's not going to make a save. They don't have to worry about that. Vladar's making every save you'd expect him to
Right
make.
now he is.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what you got to ride. And I think that they've done a good job of managing the goaltending early in the year, especially being fair to both guys, give them a look outside of preseason. When you just get a mixed bag every night of guys that some guys will never play in the NHL, they're getting a game. And I think when the regular season comes, you start to settle in a little bit. I think they've done a good job, the Flyers have, in managing their goaltenders and then letting loose the guy that's going hot. Vladar, you can't deny his numbers. His save percentage is unbelievable. I think it was .934 before the game tonight, which is insane.
And it's gone up.
It's only gone up.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been really, really good.
It's funny, too, because when you go back to the offseason, there was a lot of criticism about it. I was pretty vocal about the fact that, which one do you want?
The serious question about juniors for Jet.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go over. There we go. Okay. JR97 asks, serious question. Juniors doesn't help Jet. Can he enroll and play college?
He cannot, because he signed a pro contract with the Flyers and he's played in the NHL already. So he cannot go back to college. Just wanted to get that out, make sure people understood that. Martone could go to college because he did not sign a contract with the Flyers. If you sign an NHL professional contract, you cannot go to college or go back to college.
Good point of clarification.
Yeah.
So, Vladar, real quick. There were questions, and I don't want to overrate the guy. Sometimes there's a little hyperbole used on this show. Most of the time, it's my fault. And I don't want to project forward and say that this is going to be a sustainable thing for this entire season. If it is, it's incredible. He came into the game tonight tied for the 6th best save percentage and the 4th best goals against average in the entire NHL. That was coming into tonight.
Yeah.
It might have been a really shrewd signing by Danny Briere. In fairness, he was supposed to just be the backup to Erson. Tocchet gave these guys the opportunity to go out and seize the day, seize the job. Vladar has done, absolutely everything that you could hope a guy would do in what was apparently a pretty open competition.
It was. I mean, in his numbers, if you want to talk about analytics and numbers, his numbers dictate him playing again Thursday in Ottawa. Those are games. You get 2 days off now between games. He'll be more than rested again to go back in that chip on Thursday. Now, coming back against the Islanders on Saturday, it's a short rest.
Yeah.
You have Friday off, and it's a 12:30 start. Maybe that's another opportunity to get Sam back in the game on Saturday, so you're not wearing out your goalie.
And you don't want to bail on Sam Ersson, right? Like, there's some built-up equity here with this team, with this organization, with his teammates. He's been a pretty good soldier for this team. All things considered, has been put into some pretty rough patches, rough spots in his career so far with this team. So you don't want to make him feel like he's a totally valueless player, right? Like he is ultimately going to matter, but right now you ride the hot hand. By far, it's Vladar.
No doubt.
I want to get to a guy that obviously people have been talking a lot about. I would say had his best game tonight of the season, Matvei Michkov.
Yeah, he played well. I think he picked up an assist in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Did he? Yeah, he got one assist, so that'll keep him happy. At least he got a point, got himself on the board. He still made some mistakes. He still turned the puck over in opportune times, but because the game was out of hand at the time, and the Flyers had a secure lead, you don't notice things like that as much. But he did have a better game skating and managing the puck tonight, I thought, than he had in any of his previous 5 games.
That's the Lutsenko of it all. Trevor Zegras extended his streak of games with at least 1 assist.
Yep.
Now he's up to 5 games in a row. Bundy, there are times where he really does feel impactful. There are times where he makes an incredible highlight reel assist like he did in the first home game across the face of goal with 2 guys hanging off him. Over to Sean Couturier. It was a highlight goal. It was incredible. But his ability to get himself involved in plays and to ultimately lead to scoring opportunities, that's what the Flyers were hoping to get. That's why he was a coveted player for this organization for years, and why they ultimately were thrilled to make that deal in the offseason.
Yeah, they picked up, when you look at the trade, they ended up trading a 3rd or 4th line player for him in Ryan Poehling,
Yep.
And you got to throw a pick in there as well, too. But, it would have been a humbling trade if I were Zegras to see that trade, thinking that you had kind of the world by the tail in Anaheim and you were the future there, and it didn't work out. So now you've got a clean slate. You get to come to Philadelphia where they have coveted you. Take care, Mike. See you, buddy. And that's our organist, Mike. And come here to be a difference maker, have an opportunity to get a clean slate, play the kind of game that he thinks he's able to play and that the Flyers want him to play. Anaheim didn't think he could play center, and they felt that they had enough depth at center as it was, so that's why they felt like they moved him out.
The Flyers are kind of working this really interesting sort of hybrid role with him and Dvorak on a line more often than not, although it looked like Taka shuffled the lines a few times in this game. But we've seen early in the season Zegras and Dvorak playing this hybrid role where Dvorak's taking the faceoffs, but Tocchet has said really the goal is to have the puck on Zegras' stick as much as possible, wherever that ends up being.
Yeah, he's just not great at draws. He really, really struggles in the faceoff circle, and he took another draw tonight late in the game, and he lost it pretty cleanly. But after the draw, they just go back to assuming those positions where he's a center iceman and his 2 wingers are his wingers. And that's kind of the way. I've seen that happen many times where someone's not a great face-off guy, but they reassume their position after the draw.
Now, Lutsenko got back into the lineup here. Not like a crazy impactful game out of him, but the other guy who was out of the lineup against Minnesota but was back in tonight, Nikita Grabenkin.
Yeah. I thought he was good tonight, too. I thought he was kind of like, a little bit of a pest out there.
Yep.
And, he got into a fight. He went and actually stuck up for his teammate, which I love. I think it's great stuff to see that happen. Yeah, he was good. He was kind of like a little bit of a nuisance on the ice tonight. I like that. And then that little line they had at the end there looked pretty good, too. Grabenkin, Michkov, and Zegras.
That's a thing that they played in the preseason, and it really did look like a good line in the preseason. So I hope that we get to see more of that. Again, you try to give some leeway. You try to give the head coach a little bit of a grace period here as he tries to figure out what lines are going to be most effective. And, last year, Torts would do nonstop line shuffling, and it would drive people nuts. And we would talk about, like, how do you build chemistry as a team if you're never rolling out the same lines, if you're constantly jostling them. Tocchet is doing, like, a pretty decent job of moving these guys around. But that line is the one I think that's going to be worth keeping an eye on. If
it materializes.
If it materializes.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the situation, too. I mean, if it's not a 3-goal lead, if this is a tie game, I'm not sure that that's a line combo Tocchet's going to. Let's see. Was Konechny. Konechny got on the score sheet.
Yeah, you got a nice goal. Nice, beautiful pass by Zamula right through the crease to just a tap-in goal by TK, but hopefully that can get him going.
Yep.
He was playing pretty inspired hockey tonight. He looked like a determined hockey player, and then, of course, he had that fight at the end. I think it was some of his blood it was in that fight. It was on the jersey of the Seattle player at the time.
Oh.
So I think there was. Was there blood? There was
lingering.
Blood.
So people were tweeting about it, and apparently when they both got to the box, Konechny was shouting at him, "Hey, look at your face, bud." I mean, he totally tuned him up in that one. That was good. By the way,
bleed my own blood.
Yeah. By the way, Konechny 4 shots on goal, and it was a +3 tonight. Those are both season highs for him.
Okay.
My biggest takeaway personally was this was the most alive I've seen Konechny in a while.
Yeah.
So it was good. Even if you just take away the goal, he was all over the place tonight.
Yeah. I wonder, Bundy. I wonder if, and now it's the 6th game of the year. He was scoreless. He was without a goal in the first 5 games of the season, the last 10 games of the regular season last year. It has to feel obviously good. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of the monkey off your back, right, when you score and break one of those scoreless streaks. Does the fact that they're getting goals from everywhere else kind of take a little bit of that pressure off?
Of course. It doesn't put the pressure on 1 or 2 guys to provide all the goal scoring. So I think the emergence of Brink, Forster, and Cates has been monumental to what this team's trying to do, because I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card that they'd be playing like this early in the year. And, they just keep taking strides forward, and that could be a dangerous line. And if that's the case, the Flyers have 3 lines that can score if you get everything going the way you want it to be. So I think they're in a pretty good spot right now in terms of where they are and what they're building.
I guess one of the other, I don't know how much you want to put into it, if you want to overread into it or think that it's whatever, but Cam York got back in the lineup. What was it? It was last game, right? Was it Minnesota, right? Was his season debut? Or
Was it? Okay.
Or was it? It wasn't against the Jets, was it?
No, it was against Minnesota, I think.
Cam York had a 3-point night tonight.
Yeah, good. He played well. I thought he moved the puck really steady. He was steady defensively. And you know what? I always feel like with Cam York, the less I talk about him, the better he is.
He did play against Winnipeg.
He did. Okay, that was his first game.
This is his 3rd game.
Yeah. So it
takes a little bit to get back in the swing of things.
If I don't notice Cam York in a game, that means he's had a good game. And I only noticed subtle things he did tonight, which is a good sign.
I would say that on the whole, if we're being fair here, which we always are on the Press Row Show and Snow the Goalie, I would say that this was a comprehensive win. There's not a single facet of the game that you walk away with tonight and say, I wish they had done that significantly better. PK was good. Power play was fine. Even very early in the game, right? First period when they had the delayed penalty that was tacked on to eventually the power play. They're playing a very positive game. They're playing a confident game. One of the things we talked about during one of the intermissions, for those who might have missed it, some of the comments this offseason have kind of circulated around that idea that last year and maybe the year before, some guys were afraid to make certain plays. They were afraid to make mistakes because they felt like that was going to lead to them losing power play time, was going to lead to them losing ice time. It doesn't look like the guys are playing like that right now. It looks like they're not afraid to take chances. And what it's ultimately resulting in is guys seem to be playing not carefree, but they're not tight.
They're not playing where they make a mistake and they're going to wind up, they don't know what's going to happen because of that.
Yeah.
Hockey is a game of mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in the game. It's how you recover from those mistakes, I think, which is the biggest thing. And it's going to let guys try to be creative. Obviously, you can't come in and make bonehead plays, throwing pucks into the middle when there's nothing there. You have to be responsible in your approach to the game, but you're not hanging on a thread every night that if you do make a mistake, you may not be playing next game or you're going to ride the back of the pine for the rest of the night. And that's a big difference in a player's head, having to know that, you know what, I'm a hockey player. I'm going to play. I'm going to do what they told me to do. Mistakes are going to happen, but it's how I recover from those mistakes, not ones that are so dire that they end up in the back of your own net.
I think the only other thing is when you watch the power play now, their ability to cycle the puck is something that I don't remember seeing the last couple of years. The puck movement has been fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, on the power play?
Yeah.
Yeah, the power play's been really good. I thought York did a good job tonight. Very subtle, nice plays. Took that shot when it was there. That resulted in a goal by, I think that was Forster.
I believe so. I think so, yeah.
Get the tip in front of the net. Yeah, there's so many.
There was one that was initially given.
They gave it to
and
Cates.
they
That's where I
changed it
got
to
confused.
Forster.
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they look like a much more confident team. I'm just gonna say, if you haven't been to a Flyers game in a bit, it might be time to come on down because teams. I'm not saying the team is a cup contender because they're not. But man, they're like,
playing much, much better style and a much better brand of hockey that gives themselves a chance to win every night.
it was a low bar the last few years, but I think they're clearing it. This looks like a competent hockey team. This looks like an actual NHL team. It does.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like a team. I have been, Captain Tank, right? Sir Tanks a lot. Tankadelphia, right? I don't want to see them tank. I actually would like to see them win some games. And they are earning every point that they have ultimately picked up so far this season. And now, 6 games into the murderer's row that we talked about to start the season with some pretty big games on the horizon, the Flyers are 3-2-1 after 6 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody would have believed that before.
In a
the season.
playoff spot
would've.
right now.
Are they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Long way to go, but this has been a good start to the season. I mean, they had a very tough schedule. Florida twice.
Yeah.
And then Carolina. That's no walk in the park. So I think they've done a really, really good job in manufacturing points in these games and keeping their head above water, beating the teams they need to play. I don't think Seattle's going to be a very good team this year.
No. I mean,
I know
But this was the thing that I didn't want to jinx. Second intermission. This is Seattle's first regular regulation loss of the season. They'd gotten at least 1 point in each of their first 5 games. So Flyers finally. Now, we could very easily point to the fact that they had gone to overtime or the shootout. What was it, 4 consecutive games coming into tonight?
yes.
So that's kind of tough. And Bundy they've been out this side of the country for a bit. So listen, they don't ask how, they ask how many. That is the theme early in this Flyers season. Bundy, anything else you wanted to get to tonight?
Nothing. Good win.
Okay. A reminder for all of you wonderful people who like to follow Snow the Goalie wherever you are. We have a lot going on this week, of course. Not only did we have tonight for the Press Row Show, we have 3 total shows this week. We had this one, and then on Wednesday night, if you come out to Warrington, we're going to be at the Chickies and Pete's in Warrington. Not Warminster, Warrington. See? They got to stop naming these towns so similarly. I think that's really the problem. But we are going to be out there in Warrington on Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. Make sure you come on out. You can call into the show. We did that last week. What do we have? 5 people that called? Who was our number 1 caller last week?
Billy from South Philly.
Billy from South Philly. He said we're done with the tortellini.
Tortorella whipping up a marinara.
That was it. Yeah. I hope Billy from Philly calls back again this week. That was a lot.
We'll
of
hear
fun.
from Billy from South Philly again. I guarantee it.
I hope so. So anyway, come out to Chickies and Pete's on Wednesday in Warrington. We'd love to see you. 6 o'clock. We'll hang out. We'll talk some puck after the show. We'll talk some more puck. And then Saturday, we are back here. Don't forget, it is a 12:30 start for Flyers Islanders. We'll go live at 12 o'clock, right at noon. A little matinee here on Saturday. All right. That's it. So until Wednesday night for Snow the Goalie Radio, until Saturday for the Press Row Show, that's Bundy. Find him on Twitter at Therien6. Anthony SanFilippo. We send our best wishes to him and his family tonight.
Of course, yep.
Which we've gotten positive updates on, so that's good. He's on Twitter at AntSanPhilly. Intern Andrew at Intern Andrew. I'm Russ at Joy on Broad. Make sure you go subscribe to Snow the Goalie on YouTube. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. Ring the bell. You'll get notified every time we go live. And you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can find short form content on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts. Like all those videos. Follow those channels. And don't forget Darth Vladar shirts and hoodies now available at shop.snowthegoalie.com. We will talk to each and every one of you very soon. Flyers win tonight 5-2 over Seattle. Big win for your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers. Talk to all of you very, very soon.